Right, hello again, this is Russell speaking, and this is the second tutorial on creating your own level in CryEngine 3. This is the level that I started off with last time, and what I'm going to do now is firstly adjust the terrain so I can get rid of, or paint the terrain so I can get rid of these this grid all over it, which doesn't look particularly realistic. So if I go to the terrain and texture, I can pull this down onto my screen, and you can see this is the default texture and this is the default material. I'm going to click on that one first and go into materials, scroll down and into terrain and scroll that down, and I'm going to select grass. Grass 5 actually, I've had a reasonable amount of luck with. So select that one and then go back here and go assign material, and you can see it's assigned it to that material slot. I can close that again, and then the other thing I want to do is change this default layer texture. So let's see what we've got down here. So you can see this has changed to a kind of grassy looking thing, but it's still got this even a little bit green in the dark bit, but it's still got this line going over the top of it. So that's what we're going to need to change. So we'll change this layer texture. We're going to change it to just a grey, an average, ordinary 17% grey. So that's that. And then actually what I'll do also is change this to grass, and I'll add another layer as well, and do the same thing, change its material first. In this case I'll change the material to Pebbles 01, so select the material and then assign it by clicking this button in the other window, and then I'll close this one again, and then click on new layer, double click on that title there and change it to Pebbles, and then click on the change texture layer and change that to grey again, the same as before. So we've got two materials that we can paint between, and you could have 5 materials or whatever, you could have as many as you like. So I'll close that and then come over to the roll-up bar on the right hand side and click. You'll spend a lot of time in this roll-up bar, and click the terrain and then layer painter, and you can see I've got a highlighted area, or a sort of a bounded area in green in front here. So I'm going to increase that. Actually, I'm going to increase that by a lot. So I'm going to go backwards, so holding down the S key to go backwards, looking around with my right click, and then come down here. So I'm on the grass layer, so I've selected the grass layer. I'm going to hit the colour and give it a soft green, go OK, and then I'm going to save that layer, and then I'm going to paint it. And all I'm doing is left clicking and dragging the mouse over this surface. And let me go down here. I won't paint the whole thing, but now you can see I've got green grass. So let's try with the pebbles. I'll make the radius a lot smaller, so you can see there's my radius. I'll make it smaller, and then go to the pebbles, click its background color to, like, pebbles is kind of like a brownish kind of a thing, works well. And this is all trial and error with the different materials, so knock yourself out. And then I left click, and you can see I can paint different pathways and stuff like that. A good thing to do is the brightness. You can make it a bit darker, and actually I changed the hardness as well. It makes it sort of blend a little bit better. It doesn't sort of just change the colour so dramatically. And so you can mess around by slightly changing the colours of things. Let's go back to the grass and let's drop its brightness down you can see you can start to paint the surface to get, you know, reasonably good, you know, kind of variation. And there's a few other tricks and stuff to that you can do as well, but that's good for now. Now the next thing I'm going to do is create some vegetation. So I'm going to come back up to the top of that roll-up bar and click on Vegetation. And then first thing I have to do is actually get some objects to paint onto the surface. So I'm going to click this Add Vegetation Object, and then I'm in this Rocky Ravine folder, but I think it naturally opens up to the game folder for you. So I'll go back to that game folder, and it's in game and levels, no, go up one, libraries. It is in objects, natural, vegetation, Rocky Ravine. There you go. It's amazing what you sort of learn by rote, clicking it a million times. So go into the game, objects, natural, vegetation, and Rocky Ravine, and you can see a bunch of different trees of different types. So have a little bit of a fiddle around with those. I'm going to select the first one in the list, A Beach A, and go OK, and you can see here it is. I'll click it, and you can see it's got a whole bunch of settings that you can change. I'm going to leave it at the size as 1, but I'm going to put its variation to 2, which means it's going to get some of them half size and some of them twice that size, so it's quite a big variation. I'm also going to change turn cast shadow on, because cast shadows are nice, and I'm going to actually make him bend as well. So click bending to 3, and that makes him sway about a bit. So now, after selecting it, I can go paint objects, and you can see it's the same as my train painting, and I'll just paint some trees on here like this. Now you can see you can go nuts pretty quickly, and you can see they all have a nice sort of cast shadow on them. There we go. So turn that off again, and then jump into the world and show you what it's like from a first person point of view. Here we are in the bush, trees moving around, and actually I don't usually do this, but here's my gun, and I can do a little bit of tree pruning. Anyway, you can kind of mess around with this all afternoon. Let me jump out. What I'll do now is show you how to change the time of day. If we go to terrain again and go time of day, you can see you get this pretty amazing editor. And if I just shift it over to here, so you can see the editor and what it can do at the same time, I'll grab the time of day and scroll through it, and you can see that it's shifting the trees around, shifting the shadows from the trees, and as I slide that backwards and forwards. And what I might do is just put a play speed of 0.05, I think is good, and then jump into the world, and what we should see now is not only the trees sort of waving a bit, but the shadow changing over time as well. Maybe I've got them bending too far, but you can see hopefully you can see that shadow is slowly sort of changing. Okay, so that's doing some terrain modification. Well, actually what I'll just do very quickly is show you how to make the train go up and down. Now, this is kind of pretty cool. what I'm going to do is reposition vegetation is on, and you can turn reposition objects on as well. And then the one that I use most is this flatten, and you can see I can manipulate my brush again by using this changing its outer and inner radius, and because I've got reposition objects on, I can make things go up and down. And what I'll do is I'll select, by holding down control, I can sample that height, and then I can make stuff go up or down to that height. And so let me go back here a little bit and see now that was that height, and I can make roads going right the way through mountains, and I can make little islands. What is it? You can make a lumpy island. So you can make anything you like. And the cool thing is this is great for the civil engineers, I would have thought. The cool thing is I can make the trees go up and down with it, so that I don't need to redo all that. What I'm going to quickly show you, just for a bit of fun, is throwing an entity in, a vehicle, and I'm going to put a let's see, like a Hummer kind of a thing. Actually, notice how it's snapping around. I'll turn that off, and I can get it placed a little bit better. Right click, get rid of my gun again, sorry about that, hit the F key, and now I can drive around the world that I've barely just created. Oh, I'm a hopeless driver, but I hope you sort of get the idea. Boom. Better get out of that before it explodes. Okay, so that shows you a few things about the engine and what you can do with it. And in the next video, I'll show you how to bring in bring in custom objects. Cheers.